Well, good morning. We're here. It's a Sunday morning at the Florida Medical Conference here in Naples, Florida. We have a little surprise this morning. We found out last night about 6 o'clock that the catastrophe at the hotel was both chillers, not one, but two chillers, decided they weren't going to work anymore. So there was no air conditioning last night, no air conditioning this morning. So if you see us wearing short sleeve shirts, we're sweating a little bit. But as one might say, the show must go on. So we're here this morning with Daniel. Daniel's from Green Flower. Green Flower is an education institution that partners with FAU here in Florida and handle. Well, I'm going to let him tell you what he does, but it's a lot of different cannabis programs that if you're interested in the industry, this is the person to go to and turn to. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
So we're both a little hot here, both a little sweaty, but we're here. Good thing the light we have on is an LED because if the old-time lights, we'd really be sweating. So tell us a little bit about Green Flower and what you're trying to do for the industry.
Yeah, so Green Flower has actually been in business for 7 years now, founded to really get good information about the legal cannabis industry out there. We were founded based in Ventura, California, and out in California, the industry had been around for a long time, but obviously not in the legal space. And once it became that way, it just, the amount of misinformation was overwhelming.
Right.
And so it was founded to do better about educating people on the benefits of cannabis, on the myths, etc. And so over the years, we've created curriculum and coursework and everything from cultivation to CBD to law and policy and things like that. And in the last year and a half, what we really heard more from the industry was that we needed even deeper, more specialized education and training, and we thought it would be fantastic if those types of programs came from accredited U.S. universities. As we all know, stigma still is attached to the cannabis industry,
Sure.
And so when a school like Florida Atlantic University decides to offer programs in cannabis, it continues to help us all, really legitimize the industry and make sure that people understand it's serious. And so we've partnered with Florida Atlantic University, and they are now offering 4 certificate programs at their School of Online and Continuing Education. So that's the place where working adults go to learn more, to change careers, to do better in their career, etc. So this was, to us, a perfect place to partner at FAU, because this is about people who want to know more about the industry as well as start working in the industry or start their own business, whatever it may be.
And FAU has been very big in the healthcare industry for a while. Not only have their own medical school, they have their own nursing school. They handle a lot of healthcare professionals as far as master's programs, doctorate programs. So this is kind of, I would think, almost like a natural extension, because this is part of the healthcare industry more and more and more.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that they stepped up to do that. So tell us, I know I was looking at your brochure, so tell us there are 4 distinct programs.
Correct.
So if you're getting into this industry or thinking about getting into this industry, what phase of the industry do you want to go to? Because a lot of times you may see some courses that will say, listen, here is an 8-hour course that teaches you everything you need to know about the cannabis industry. Well, the answer is wrong. It doesn't work that way. So I see the programs, and we'll be talking about it kind of extensively a little bit earlier. So tell us about the different programs and maybe the type of students that you'd be looking for to be able to get into this industry, because this industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry and probably one of the fastest growing industries in this country right now. And if you don't know anything about it and want to get into it, you're going to be that person who says, yeah, we'd like to give you a job, but you really don't know anything about the industry, so the answer is no.
Yeah, 100%. And really the programs came out of feedback from the industry. Because we've been doing this kind of thing for so long, we're very well connected, and we work a lot. We have a huge, if you will, kind of community of industry leaders who have always come to us and helped us with creating content and giving feedback, etc. And they're the ones who said, we can't hire people who know anything about it. And so how do we work towards that? And so the 4 programs are really created in 4 different sectors where obviously cannabis has a tremendous impact. And so the first one obviously is in healthcare and medicine. And this program was created kind of for 2 audiences, I would say. The first is people who are in the healthcare industry but don't have any understanding or knowledge of cannabis and how it affects the industry, how it affects the patients, etc. And so this program is really created to, and it's everything from dosing to titration to how different drugs interact with cannabis, etc. So we have a lot of nurses and doctors and therapists who, I talked to a prospective student the other day. She's a nurse, and the doctor who runs their practice said, "I'm going to put you in charge of figuring out cannabis. Go figure it out."
Right.
And she had, she had no idea. The doctor had no idea, etc. So this program was perfect for her. Also, what we're finding is that people who are looking to get into on the retail side, but especially when it's a medical dispensary, but even in the recreational dispensaries, people with a much better knowledge of how it works and how it interacts and what kinds of things it's helpful for, those people are now taking this program and getting kind of management positions, if you will, on the retail side.
Yeah, kind of like educators. I mean, they become educators for patients and educators for physicians.
Yeah, as opposed to going in and talking to someone who really doesn't know what they're talking about. Now you have someone you can really talk to.
Right, because it's nice to know, and again, a lot of the different dispensaries down here, that the people you go into are very knowledgeable about their products. They're educated on their products. Yeah. But this is an overall educated on cannabis in general. And that's to be honest with you, if you don't have something like this, I'm not sure where you learn it from. But, it's not that you can be offered. So it's a very good question. Yeah. The next one is
I'll just mention one thing about this program and all of the programs. It's 3 courses.
Right.
Each course is online. And it's 8 weeks long, so it's a 6-month program. So it's not just taking a 1-day seminar. It's really in depth. It was actually created to be like a course that could be working a master's degree.
Yeah.
But we just found that working adults wanted this because they already had a degree. They needed this to improve their knowledge.
That's right. It was almost like adding on. It was like an add-on to what they already know.
Exactly.
So the other one, let's see. So we went through the kind of the healthcare and the medicine one, which I think in the realm of what we do is an important one. But then you got the industry and operations.
Yeah, and so industry and operations is helping someone really understand the whole business side, if you will. We call it from seed to sale. So really, it starts with. We have an agriculture program, which we'll talk in a second.
Yeah.
In the business, in the industry and operations program, we talk about the business of cultivation and how you go. What are the processes to start that? What are the processes in manufacturing and the whole 9 yards? But then it goes even deeper, and we hear this all the time from some of the larger cannabis companies. HR is different in a cannabis company.
Right.
Real estate is different in a cannabis company. Banking, as we all know, you still can't put your money in a federally insured bank.
Right, exactly.
Marketing, you can't buy a Google AdWord, right? So there's all these business aspects where it's the same in a cannabis company. Every cannabis company needs all those things, but it's just different in cannabis.
Right.
And so this industry and operations program really goes. It's when people ask what's the one program that maybe helps me with if I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I know I want to be in the cannabis industry. This really, from retail to agriculture to some of the really in-depth things that are happening in companies, this program is there to train for that.
It sounds like your basic business knowledge of the cannabis industry.
But not just it gets pretty specific in those 6 months.
Right, but it gives you the business of cannabis.
100%. Yeah.
So the next one, which I always find fascinating because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, me too.
It is the agriculture and horticultural aspect of cannabis. Those are your growers. Those are the guys that really that produce the product. I mean, everybody else works around that these guys produce the product.
Yeah, and there are more jobs on the cultivation side actually than any other part of the industry right now, and there is a need for people who truly understand. We're not just talking about how to put a plant in the ground, but everything from diseases and pests and lighting and water and irrigation and then processing afterwards, and how do you increase your yields, and it's again, in fact, it has a project. You have to actually grow your own plant throughout the program.
Really?
And if you can't grow a cannabis plant in Florida, there's another dioecious plant that actually mirrors cannabis, which is called the stinging nettle.
Really?
And you can get the stinging nettle at any garden center, and you have to track your progress through that whole thing through the entire program, and it's not just, even though it's a 100% online program, there's a hands-on component and it really helps people walk into a grow operation and understand and be able to help right from day one.
Because I know in the state of Florida, with the number of expansion of dispensaries, the number of square feet that are being added to the individual grows is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of square feet. And they need people who know what's going on in the agriculture.
This program actually also, you can, in the final course, you can separate tracks. You can stay in cannabis or you can go to industrial hemp. So you have a choice in the last course.
Both industries are very, very big.
Absolutely.
And the last one, which could trip up everybody in this industry, is law and policy, which I think is a good basis for almost anybody to know if you're going to go into an industry of what's going on in the industry.
Absolutely. So this was kind of created for two audiences as well. One is the legal community and the governmental community. So, we hear from attorneys who are like, I still don't know how to help someone when they come to me and they're starting a dispensary, on the corporate side, how do I help that? And what are the policies and laws that I need to be careful about, as well as the criminal side. What are penalties and how do you deal with that, and what are so you go deep into that. But one of the other areas that is really in need in the industry today is compliance.
Oh, absolutely. I hear that every day.
Yeah,
every day.
Cannabis companies can't find people to help in compliance enough, and this program is a really wonderful foundation for people who might have some inclination towards compliance, but they need more of a background and what's really what the industry is going through right now, and so it's a great program.
So do you see a lot of attorneys that may have been that do practice maybe real estate litigation taking this course, kind of like, let me dip my toe into this and see if it's something that I can expand into?
100%. Plus, actually, I'm an attorney by education, and I will tell you that attorneys like to hang things on their wall. And a credential from Florida Atlantic University, when a client comes in and says, do you know anything about cannabis before I even talk to you? Yes, I do, right? And so that helps. But we also get attorneys who are sending their staff to get the program, like from paralegals and assistants and things like that. And then we get people from like NGOs and government and and then some in law enforcement. We're saying start to take it as well. So. That one will actually probably expand in 2022 to be more. We're going to separate out a criminal justice and compliance.
Yeah.
So it'll continue to grow. But it's a great program. It helps people.
Oh, that's great. So if people are interested in signing up for this course, tell us where they would go on a local basis in the state of Florida.
Well, best place to go is online at fau.cannabisstudiesonline.com.
Right.
And at that site, it describes all of those programs. You can actually click and see snippets of video lectures that are part of the programs, and you can see testimonials from students who have taken it, and you can actually register and enroll right there online. There are 6 times a year where there's a new cohort start. The next one is actually on June 28th.
Okay.
And then there'll be another one August 23rd, and then in October, mid-October, and all that's on that website. So again, fau.cannabisstudiesonline.com is the best place to go.
Well, that sounds great. And like I said, FAU is one of the top universities in the state of Florida, and offering this course is, I guess, very, very timely for them to be able to do this. So, Daniel, thanks very much.
Yeah.
And have a good rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay cool.
Oh, yeah.